Didn't freaks off detailed by prosecutors, and it's as bad as you thought. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs have been laid out by the prosecutor's office, centering around the rapper's private sexual events called freak-offs. Since his arrest, people have been questioning exactly what he was being accused of due to the vagueness of the term, but the accusations are much clearer now and they're genuinely horrific. The indictment includes charges of physical and sexual violence, blackmail, manipulation, drug use, and prostitution. To boil the events down to their most basic description, Diddy's freak-offs were live sex performances orchestrated by Combs and his staff. These sometimes multi-day events seem to have been primarily for the rapper's own viewing pleasure, though they were often filmed as well. Illicit drug use was also common during these events. Diddy's freak-offs were brought to public attention following his arrest on September 16. The celebrity's arrest and the reported seizure of over 1,000 bottles of baby oil quickly flooded headlines. The rapper is accused of forced sex trafficking and racketeering. In many cases, Diddy is accused of manipulating and coercing victims into participating in freak-offs, utilizing his fame and wealth. In some cases, that meant using his business to gain access to female victims, in others using the prospect of a romantic relationship to lure women to the events. Victims were also allegedly given drugs in order to ensure their compliance. More direct force was also allegedly used by Diddy against his victims during freak-offs. Physical violence was outlined in the indictment, claiming he hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. In combination with the financial and emotional manipulation outlined by victims, they reported feeling like they couldn't safely refuse Combs. Further manipulation and blackmail allegedly followed the events in order to keep victims from speaking out. Diddy is accused of using the recordings of his freak-offs to blackmail victims into silence, threatening to release videos of the victims in sexual situations. Further personal control was levied against victims, with their positions being tracked, medical records observed, and outfit choices being dictated. Diddy is also accused of transporting sex workers across state and national borders for his freak-offs. Both male and female sex workers were hired for these events, with their actions being directed by Combs. The transporting of these sex workers between states and nations could have a drastic effect on his legal case. While his fame has made Diddy the central figure of the freak-offs, several of his staff have been accused of facilitating the criminal behavior. Various employees of Combs' company have been accused of using their positions to supply victims for these events. Even his private household staff is being accused of being compliant for helping to manage and cover up the events. While his fame has made Diddy the central figure of the freak-offs, several of his staff have been accused of facilitating the criminal behavior. Various employees of Combs' company have been accused of using their positions to supply victims for these events. Even his private household staff is being accused of being compliant for helping to manage and cover up the events. The accusations against Sean Diddy Combs are heinous, and the prosecution paints a disturbing picture of what took place at freak-offs. With such a high-profile defendant and so many lurid details, the upcoming legal battle is sure to continue to draw plenty of media attention. The trial is also likely to bring up more horrific details of sexual coercion and abuse as the prosecution makes their case.